What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It's your boy Mojados, and I want to talk about XRP and why it's possible that the macro lows are in. Yep, I said it. I think that potentially we have bottomed, right? And I'm gonna explain to you why I believe we bottomed. Yeah, let's just jump right in, guys. So first things first, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. If you're looking for financial advice, go speak to a financial advisor. But yeah, let's jump right in, guys. So basically, the reason why I'm looking at the weekly time frame here is because a lot of times people are not zooming out, looking at the bigger picture. And when we're trading or looking to enter a position, you should look at the bigger picture first to see if the pattern itself is even bullish. Because at the end of the day, guys, you want to be on the bigger time frame where the big money is, and usually the big money is always on the bigger time frames because that is where the most money is made, guys. Is usually the bigger time frames. So yeah, now that I gave a little bit of context here, I want to talk about why it's important that we look at the high time frames and also point out this big support and resistance line here and why it's important, right? So every time that XRP has rallied or bounced off of a region or dipped, we've noticed a reaction here, right? And this area is very significant to me because if we look, guys, it's been what 1,500 days that this support area or resistance area has been active and is still active right now, guys. And even from 2017, you saw that price falls, it hits this area, wicks off of it, pushes up, falls lower, pushes back off of it again, and then eventually it breaks through it, retests it, and then it becomes a resistance, and then every single time it acts as a resistance, right? And we saw that it was a resistance for a long time until we saw over here March 21, where price breaks out to $2, hits this high over here, which is this is still okay, guys. Just because it fell from the $2 does not make it bearish at all. It's actually bullish because at the end of the day, you have to remember resistances never break on the first try, and so there has to be a couple taps in order to take out those highs. And I'm actually thinking that it's actually going to break the next time we go up there. And so I'm going to be showing you guys a Elliot wave count in a moment. But what we see is that we hit $2, come back to this low here. And once we hit this low here, we see a beautiful bounce out of it. And that's very bullish, guys, because at the end of the day, you want to see strength in a move or off of a support, because that shows that that area is being defended by the bulls. So again, this is a beautiful story when you look at it. And although we did come back up to this high over here, yes, we did come lower to this area again. And you're probably thinking to yourself, why the hell did that happen? And it's actually very simple. And what I think it is just a flat correction. And I'm gonna show you guys the market cap for XRP chart because it has more data here. So yeah, basically over here it doesn't show like this extra information, and I think it's relevant because when we look at it from an Elliot wave standpoint, it's very important because every single cycle has 5 waves, guys. And what we can see is essentially, this is 5 waves to end off the 2017, and what we're seeing right now is a development of 5 waves, right? So I think 5 waves are going to play out here, and we're pretty much in the process of those 5 waves. And the way I look at it right now is that we don't have a wave 3, right? And you guys are probably, my non-Elliot waivers are viewing this saying, what the heck's a wave 3? This is a wave 3, guys. It's pretty much when price action goes bananas, right? Where everybody starts getting euphoric, people thinking they missed it, and people are waiting for a pullback, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna buy when it pulls back a little bit, but it just starts ripping and ripping and ripping, and it just starts going so high, and eventually it goes sideways, and then on the 5th wave is when retail buys it, right? And that's usually what happens in the 3rd wave. And right now we don't have that 3rd wave, guys. And when I look at any of this area here, right? Even anywhere in this area, right? Because this can be considered, you can kind of like change this Elliott wave count into a few different ways. But every time I look at it, I see this as a 1. And this is like, looks like to me like an ABC correction. And what this ABC correction is it's definitely a flat, right? And what we can see is that at the moment, it could play out to be a regular flat, expanded flat, or a running flat. But honestly, it's probably either going to be a regular flat or expanded flat because we kind of went lower than we should have to qualify for a running flat. And you're probably looking at this and saying, wait a minute, we didn't go past this the top of wave 1 here to qualify as expanded flat. And technically this is true, but sometimes there are instances where wave B doesn't exactly go past it because it could depend on the time frame you're looking at. And because this market is extremely over levered, like technically sometimes wicks can disqualify some of the movements. So like technically wave 1 ended like at the top here, and then there are some wicks that cascade people's stop losses who are short. And so there are small variables and exceptions that we're willing to make to essentially qualify this to be an expanded flat or a regular flat. But again, this can play out to be a more complex correction, right? It could become a WXY where we have a double ABC correction, and that's kind of what we're monitoring for closely. But it's definitely going to be either a regular flat or a expanded flat. But I'm leaning more towards a regular flat here, guys, because it has like a nice breakout after hitting the zone, and price is choppy, right? And every single C wave, guys, there's always 5 waves down, right? And so I'm already seeing those 5 waves down from this B, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. And then essentially we're seeing right now, oops, I deleted the wrong thing. What we're seeing right now is a nice rejection here on this support that I drew earlier, guys. So this same support that I was talking about, this blue one here, is basically the same exact support that we're seeing here, but I colored it in green. And it falls in line with the regular flat scenario as well. So essentially, I think that this is the bottom of wave 2 of this minor wave 5. I can't even talk. I think that this is the bottom of wave 2 in the minor 5 wave for the major 5 wave. This shit sounds so crazy. And let me kind of draw it out for you guys. Like, this probably makes a little bit more sense, right? And I kind of hid this because I don't want to make it confusing. But in every single 5 waves, guys, there's always, I'm just kind of put this here so it can make more sense. And now I'm going into an Elliott wave, explanation here, which I didn't want to get this detailed, but I think it's, wise to share, guys, because this is how I think when I look at this. But in every single wave, like one wave, there's 5 waves in that wave, right? And then what you see is a wave 2. And then in wave 3 again is 5 waves, guys. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, wave 1 ended, but this is wave 2 coming down. And what I think wave 2 is over, it's going to start sub wave 3 of the major wave 3. So that's kind of what I was saying. And so, yeah, so much terminology. And I can't understand why people get afraid of Elliott waves because sometimes the terminology can even confuse somebody who's been using it for a long time. But yeah, guys, so that's kind of why I believe that pretty much the lows are in for XRP, the macro lows. And if we do have a little bit of downside, it'll be limited. But I personally believe that this has to be the bottom, guys. We do not want to see a break here, guys. This is not going to be good. I'm open to the idea that it can break it. Of course, we have to be, be open to looking at all scenarios. We cannot just marry our biases, right? But overall, everyone that I've known so far that I've asked for a count pretty much talks about, this count being valid because it's very clean, guys. This is a very clean 5 waves. This is obviously a correction here underneath, and this is a clear support or resistance, and right now it's acting as support to continue back up to this upside here. So again, as long as we hold here, we're going to see explosive price action, and your boy Mojados is telling you this right now. So don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button or your portfolio will go to zero. And as always, haro, haro, haro. Peace.